is Monday, July 18, 2016. We are pleased to bring you today's edition of the Government News Brief. Welcome. In the news, Attorney General receives kudos from international legal experts on the successful hosting of the Hague International Conference. Maruti residents are calling for government's intervention in resolving a mining issue. And 2 water treatment plants in Linden to soon provide safe water to over 29,000 people. Stay tuned as we bring you the details of these and other stories. Thank you for staying with us. I am Azim Khan. Here are the details. Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Basil Williams was lauded by his regional counterparts and senior legal luminaries for his vision of hosting the Regional Hague Conference. More in this Glendon Greenwich report.
Guyana collaborated with UNICEF and the Hague Conference on Private International Law to host the Hague Convention Conference from July 13 through 15. Sir Matthew Thorpe, former Lord Justice of Appeal, commends Attorney General and the Minister of Legal Affairs Basil Williams for his vision to host this conference.
I have never seen a conference so generously supported as this is. It is armed to change because the people who have the capacity to change are here. And why are they here? It is thanks to the vision, the commitment, and the hard work of Basil Williams. It is, yes, it is his vision, yes, it is his commitment, and yes, it is the esteem in which he is universally held in this region that ensures that we have here today 20 jurisdictions represented by ministers of justice, chief justices, or senior members of the judiciary.
The Hague Convention Conference on International Family Law, Legal Cooperation and Commerce, promoting human rights and cross-border trade in the Caribbean through the Hague Conference conventions, saw in excess of 200 participants from 27 countries regionally and internationally. Secretary General of the Hague Conference, Dr. Christophe Bernasconi, informed the participants about the mandate of the Hague Conference on Private International Law, which is an international non-governmental organization.
According to Article 1 of our statutes, the mandate of the organization is the progressive unification of the rules of private international law. So we are only dealing with cross-border issues between private people, between corporations or other business entities, only in a cross-border context. We don't do any criminal law, but the basic questions we try to answer are which court has jurisdiction in a cross-border situation, which law applies, how can a judgment be recognized and enforced abroad, and what about cooperation mechanisms between states to overcome the challenges of a cross-border civil procedure.
President David Granger, in addressing the opening ceremony, said that a good life means more than economic growth. It means respecting the rights of children, protecting them from abuse, and providing greater opportunities for them to be successful.
With this conference, we have taken an important step towards ensuring that children in Guyana and throughout the Caribbean can be protected from such trauma, and that strong systems can be put in place to ensure that this principle of best interests, a principle which has been written on and elaborated by the Committee on the Rights of the Child, is always upheld in everything that we do.
During the conference, Guyana nominated 2 High Court judges, Chief Justice Madam Justice Yonette Cummings Edwards and Madam Justice Roxanne George, to be part of the Hague network of judges. With this news brief, Glendon Greenwich.
Maruti residents are calling for the end of the agreement that was recently signed to settle mining disputes in the area. Details in this Tiffany Rodius report.
The complaint was raised during an outreach to Region 9 by a team of ministers led by Minister of Social Cohesion Amna Ali. Minister within the Ministry of Natural Resources, Simona Brooms, explains that the signatories were in breach of the agreement.
They said in the agreement they were not to excavate, and they're excavating. They said they have more shops, they have trafficking in person, they have guns, they have drugs. The Amerindians are complaining that they are not benefiting anything from Maruti. They have a lot of foreign nationals. They have a lot of Brazilians in particular work in the area, and they are alleging that the Brazilians are taking the gold over the border.
In April, Minister of Natural Resources Raphael Trotman led mediation team between the Amerindian villages and the mining company, where an agreement was signed aimed at resolving the conflicts with the mining company in the area. Broom says the villagers complained about being bullied and being used to sign the agreement. They are seeking government's intervention.
I am going to convey to him, and definitely we will have to make some kind of decision, because the activity has worsened based on the people on ground.
Minister Brooms, who was part of a ministerial outreach to Region 9 in South Rupununi over the weekend, where she met with the residents of Maruti, who appraised her of their concerns. For the Government News Brief, I'm Tiffany Rogers.
Youth empowerment through skills training continues across Guyana. Paul McAdam reports.
Government continues to place emphasis on the training and equipping of youths with marketable skills. Recently, more than 180 youths graduated under a youth empowerment program from the Board of Industrial Training and the Upper Quarantines Industrial Training Center in Region 6, Pobis. Chairman of the Board of Industrial Training, Clinton Williams, highlights what is needed to take the program forward.
We need to get facilities and resources to be able to deliver the programs that we are delivering. Because with the recent development of competency-based education, the context and the concept is to train, to perform, and then give you the theory after. So we need to get instructors that are competent enough to deliver these programs for us.
Williams said that there are plans to take the empowerment program to Region 8, where the focus will be on skills required for the mainland mining communities.
Mining community requires heavy equipment operators. And so a program in that region will start with that aspect of the training, and then we go on to do some other things.
The notion, he said, that vocational training is geared mainly at those who have successfully completed a basic grammar school program and is attractive to mainly males was dispelled.
We are changing that. What is important now is what could get you the better job with the better benefits, and that's where the technical skills come in. And they're moving, as I said this afternoon, the numbers are there. We are, in fact, to date, of the 20,000 people we have trained so far, the ratio is about 55 to 45 in favor of women.
The training program is expected to generate approximately 1,600 trained youths this year.
It will take us about 22,000 for the last, since 2006. And we need to continue this program. And as the new industries are emerging, we want to make sure that we're also ready for that. And so we are looking at opportunities in the oil and gas sector, and to ensure that we are prepared and geared to deliver skills in that area also.
The program saw participants trained in areas of engineering, information technology, automotive repairs, management, garment construction, and carpentry, among other skills, at the Upper Quarantine Industrial Training Center. Paul McAdam, Government News Brief.
The imminent withdrawal of the Bank of America from local banks is not peculiar to Guyana, says Finance Minister Winston Jordan. Details in this report.
The move by American banks to implement the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act, FATCA, to avoid threats posed by money laundering and financing of terrorist activities affects all CARICOM countries, Minister of Finance Winston Jordan explains.
It's called de-risking, essentially, in which banks in the United States of America avoiding the risks associated with particularly dealing with small countries as it comes to the implementation, as relates to the implementation of the FATCA.
De-risking activities by which international financial institutions protect their financial systems from possible threats posed by money laundering and terrorist financing are currently affecting countries of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, OECS, Jamaica, and Central America.
The correspondent bank doesn't want to take the chance of dealing with banks in the Caribbean generally, by the way, not just Guyana.
Minister Jordan says a regional task force was established by CARICOM to engage the U.S. authorities on the consequences of de-risking activities for the Caribbean.
CARICOM established a task force headed by the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda to make representation in the United States about the fact that these banks were pulling out and the consequences for the Caribbean, as it relates to remittances, trade, investment, and so on.
Meanwhile, a European bank has since been identified to replace the Bank of America as the correspondent bank for the local banking sector.
I know for sure the Caribbean governors have had extensive discussions with Crown agents and some other banking institutions to come in as replacements.
Kidaki Amsterdam for Government News Brief.
GWI's water treatment plants in Amelia's Ward and Wisrock Linden are expected to be operational by mid-August 2016. Details in this report.
The water treatment plants were completed over a year ago but were found to have defective filter systems. GWI's Infrastructure Planning and Implementation Director, Ramchan Jailal, says that works are ongoing to fix the filter systems.
At present, work is ongoing on the improvement of the filters, the filtration system, because for any water treatment plant, the filters are the heart of the treatment plant. If the filter doesn't work properly, then a water treatment system is a failure.
Testing for both water treatment plants should be completed within 2 weeks. Once completed, Jailal says that the water treatment plants are expected to be fully operational by mid-August.
They are scheduled to undertake testing in the latter part of this week, and after they test the filters at Amelia's Ward, in another 2 weeks' time, we will also be testing the filters at Wisrock. And we expect by mid-August, the filtration system in Linden should be in full operation.
The aim behind the construction of the two plants is to reduce operational costs associated with the treatment of surface water from the Demerara River. Additionally, the Mackenzie and West Watuka water treatment plants in Linden will undergo rehabilitative works in August and will serve as a backup for the residents of Linden.
We have a project to refurbish the water treatment plants at Mackenzie and West Watuka. These projects have already been tendered and evaluated, and is presently at the National Procurement and Administration Board for award of contracts. We expect those awards before the end of July, and the works is expected to start in August.
Linden residents at the recent ministerial outreach in Linden highlighted the water challenges they face on a daily basis. However, they were made aware of the ongoing efforts by GWI to ensure that potable water is accessible to every resident. For the Government News Brief, Sinika Thorne reporting.
That concludes today's edition of the Government News Brief. The details of these and other stories can be found on GINA's website. We encourage you to stay updated and subscribe to our website and YouTube channel. All government and other information can be accessed from GINA's website. Join us again tomorrow when we bring you another edition of this, the Government News Brief. Thank you for watching.